This is Majin. I got a bunch of reviews for you today. We have Earth 2, Argus, Aquaman, World's Finest, Superior, Guardians, Avengers, and Ultimate. Alright, let's get with some of this bad out of the way. And that's Earth 2. The shocking origin of Batman revealed. Okay, here's the deal. Basically what's going on is this. Uh, they're giving you the origin of who this Batman character is that we first see and going, wow, he's kind of like a badass. Now, here's the thing. Right from the very beginning, you pretty much get the idea of who it is even before he's officially unmasked. That being said, that's not what I had a problem with. The thing I had a problem with is this is just kind of like it fills in stuff that really tarnishes the legacy of the Waynes. It really sets things off bad in that respect. Now, granted, this is Earth 2, so I understand you can do whatever you kind of want to. That you have a certain degree of flexibility, and I can appreciate that. But the thing is, you basically with this issue here is you took everything that made Batman who he was, and you stripped it and took it away, and then it didn't leave you with a happy feeling at the end. Like, you didn't, at least for me, I didn't go, wow, this was actually a really good ending. It made sense, the way the story progressed, and I can accept it. Now, granted, I can accept who the character is, but it's really stupid. It really is. Uh, it's one of these things that I constantly keep saying is, why do you always have to keep things in the family? Why do you always have to try to be shocking and try to be, look who this is now? It's sir, like, remember during Flashpoint, who remember the Joker was? It's like, really, why don't you try to do something besides trying to shock? Tell a good story. If that's all I ask. Just tell a good story. This really wasn't that great. Okay, Forever Evil Argus. Overall, this is like a decent let's move the story along type issue, because they're trying to basically save everybody, and they're on the quest to make that happen. We learn some more secrets about Argus, which is good. We get thrown a little bit more secrets, like who's this? That's also good. I can appreciate that type of stuff. Like, who's the man with the ring? Let me see if I can get you that ring. Probably can't, because I need to get it. But it's the guy with the president, and you kind of go, who is this? You have... So all that part was good. And then I got to the final page, which I'm going to show you. And the final page really creeped me out on many different levels. Many different levels. And that is a picture of Cheetah. Okay, let's take a look at this for a second here. She's naked. Do you see a problem here? That's all I'm going to say. We'll end it at that. Aquaman 27. Amazing cover. And then, actually, I really enjoyed this issue. I mean, this is my disclaimer here, because I know there's going to be some people who go, Majin, this really wasn't that great of an issue. Well, I kind of liked it, because this was just kind of like, let's just show Aquaman as being a badass, because Aquaman doesn't get that opportunity every now and then. So here he is fighting this gigantic sea monster. So I looked at it as like old campy-ish, like those Godzilla type movies, and like Ultraman, that kind of thing. And I just looked at it for the fun of things. I didn't want to look at it as a rich, in-depth story that had lots of plot and development and things like that. Just was it fun? And it was, and it actually showed little bits about like how the city that Arthur lives in occasionally, his part-time city that he lives in, and how they treat him now. Because the thing is, if you remember the way they acted towards him at the beginning of the series, he was a joke. And everybody's like, really? You're Aquaman? What powers do you have? Talk to fish? But now they're actually taking the opportunity to like risk their lives to help him. They're also doing things like strangers come asking about questions about him. They don't tell. They don't talk. So I really, really like that. And it really shows a growth of the character, and they did it in a very organic way. So I really appreciate that, because especially since when you had that war with Atlantis part, that could have really tarnished everything and reset everything back. But it didn't. If anything, it made the connection between the characters of the city with Aquaman stronger. So I'm really enjoying this. Parker's doing a fairly decent job after Jeff Johns. So I'm definitely going to keep this, and I'm enjoying it. Definitely enjoyed it. Okay. Usually with annuals, you're up for some really crappy stories. Filler stories that mean absolutely nothing, and by the time you read it, you regret that you even saw the book in the first place. I can be pretty happy and say, you know what, this wasn't the case. This is an origin type issue between the Huntress and Power Girl. And even though, I mean, by origin issue, I don't mean like we're learning their powers for the first time. This is very early in their career. They know each other, and it's just showing one of their first team ups type thing. So I thought that was really good. I liked how they devoted time for each character, and it kind of really showed their personality to a certain degree too, which I thought was good. And then at the very end, it planted the seeds for the attack of Darkseid. So, an apocalypse. So I thought Paul Levitz did a great job in setting this thing up, and this was probably one of the more stronger world's finest stories I've read in a long time. Now, I have a feeling you're going to probably find some people who are going to disagree, because, in all honesty, this is pretty much what you should expect from a story. But I'm giving it a little bit extra credit because it's an annual, and we all, like I said, we all know annuals tend to suck balls, especially that Earth 2 one. Okay, Superior Spider-Man number 26. This one has some mixed feelings. On one hand, I thought this book really had a very generic flow to it. It had a couple strong moments, but overall, it didn't really do anything to make me go, whoa, this is amazing. But all this really is just a prelude to the big battle. And if you notice all of these creators here, and this is the other problem with this book, is it's suffering from what I call an identity crisis. You have great art, then it kind of goes to that. And, then you get to that. And then it goes to this. And then it goes to that. So you see what I'm saying? Now, if you see the pattern too. They're basically, depending upon the situation, they're changing their art. So I understand what they're doing, but again, this is causing issues here. And I shouldn't be looking at this book and not being able to have a good flow with it. In a sense, what's happening is I'm reading it, and my mind restarts as I'm looking at brand new artwork. Now, we have Peter Parker inside the mind, and he's trying to figure out how is he going to beat Doc Spider. While that's going on, you have him getting interrogated by the Avengers, and he quits. And then you have the big battle between Hobgoblin and Green Goblin. Now, I'm not going to ruin the very ending of this, but I got to give Dan Slott kudos with how he handled the Hobgoblin. That was great. I did not see that coming at all. I should have, and I'm very upset with myself that I didn't, but that was a really good ending for that part of the story. You also, unless they throw a swerve, they pretty much tell you who the Green Goblin is in this issue. So that, I just have this fear that they're going to swerve it, but they threw in one little key thing that pretty much solidifies that's who he is. So we're about getting ready to start the Goblin War, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Guardians of the Galaxy number 11. Trial of Jean Grey. Okay, this is... Technically, you need to read this before the all-new X-Men issue, because this happens before it. This is where we learn, okay, this is what's going on in space. There's the galactic meeting where they go, Gladiator's like, we got to take her out. And the thing is, I understand why Gladiator's pissed. Because the Phoenix is a thorn on his side. And all these guys are bitching and moaning and griping about, well, the Earth keeps tampering with time, and they're just like wild children, and they should be put out their misery because they're going to cause problems. But he wants to put Jean Grey on trial. don't you think putting her on trial, okay, you want to put her on trial, that's fine, but if you incarcerate her forever or you kill her, don't any one of these guys realize the damage it's going to cause the time stream also? So that part I'm confused with. But regardless, there's a nice moment here with Tony and the Guardians of the Galaxy team members, and he's basically also planting the seed of this is where you're going to see Miss Marvel and or Captain Marvel and Venom appearing. Now, my personal favorite though of the storyline is the new power couple of Angela and what's her name, Gamora. That I love the way these two work together. You know, they're hot. Well, one's kind of green if you like the green part, but they just live off of violence. It's like one is already violent and one is more violent, and I really appreciate that. I love that entire that you can just do a comic of just those two, and that's it, and I would be happy. I would buy every issue as long as it's drawn well. Anyways, I enjoyed it. I didn't think this was the greatest thing ever, but I still enjoyed it. Uncanny Avengers. Okay, I read this, and this was my book of my good book of the week. And then I read Thor. I really enjoy this. See, this I finally realized it really started to hit home with me. In that, to me, Uncanny Avengers is what a superhero book would really be like if they didn't have to worry about what happens next. Because these characters keep dying. You know, you got Captain America, his face is all jacked up. Something horrible happens to Thor, which, you know, we already know Thor's going to regenerate. But Captain America's face is jacked up, and, you know, there's some seriously cool stuff, you know, in terms of the fighting going on. And, you know, this is what I would expect when you fight somebody as powerful as the Apocalypse Twins. Now, basically what's going on is the world is trying to react to you know, save the day type thing, because you have the Celestial who's hovering above the Earth who's going to pass judgment. So it's a race against time for that. And then you also have this machine that's preventing people from time jumping. And if they can bring that thing down, then Immortus is going to send a team from the future to save the day. And that's the Infinity Watch team here. So, I mean, I really want to see this part here. And, you know, there's a lot of anticipation that's building up. You know, I'm telling you, when Thor is now like one of my favorite characters. He has risen from a superhero character to, okay, you better watch out because he is going to tear things up character. And, you know, to me, he is like what Wolverine was like to me back when Wolverine during Byrne and Austin, where Wolverine tore things up. But this is like awesome because he's got his hammer, he's pounding things, he's throwing hammers through people, lightning. It's home run. Thor is, like I said, the greatest. You know what? Forget Spider-Man, forget Wolverine. Throw Thor in every single issue, make him badass like he is in this and his own series, and Marvel wins, hands down. And this series actually has been really good. I don't know how they're going to fix everything so this way everybody comes back to life type thing. Because you know they're all going to have to come back to life because you can't have all these dead Avengers and X-Men. And you can't have Captain America with jacked up face, and Thor's all jacked up too by the end of this. But really great. Ultimate Last Stand. We're getting close. And it pains me to realize that the Ultimate Universe is not going away. I wish they did not ruin that, because that was the thing that made this book magical, that you didn't know. Is it gone or is it not gone? And the fact that we know it ruins 90% of the fun. That being said, we're finally getting to see the heroes starting to act. Part of it's entertaining. Part of it's just kind of like, okay, can we just get on with the attempted world-eating part? But understand that you got to build things up a little bit more to get the heroes ready to at least stop Galactus. And this time they basically need Kitty Pryde because they need her to phase through the machine. And what they're going to do is they're going to enlarge her. And then, because they figure her body, being a normal human, won't cause any damage to the machine because the machine's giant size. But if she's a giant, then right through. And giant, I mean Galactus size. So there's even that thought of, is she even going to survive the transformation? And, you know, personally, I don't even know if there's enough unstable molecules that are going to be able to stretch enough. So we might be able to see a naked Jean Grey, for all we know. Now, also we have the potential death of Captain America, but I doubt it because you see him running. The only thing is you don't see him jump. But we all know what this means. It means he jumped. And he's just going to... somebody will save him, and he'll be fine. But I really liked it. Oh, also, we also get a hint of what Galactus thinks about while he's getting ready to eat a world. So I thought that part was good. You know, because, you know, for all we know, he could have been wanting to know, like, what's going to happen on next week's Walking Dead. You know, who lives, who dies. He's probably wondering if he's going to be able to get a beta into the PlayStation Plus thing. Not the Plus, but the PlayStation Cloud Gaming. There's that. And, you know, I should probably give you... where's Thor? That's not Thor. Here's Thor. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video. Like the Facebook link right there. Crunchyroll anime reviews right there too. And Spider-Man. That might be a little hard to read, but it's TMA0KH4H0TBI. Anyways, that's it for today. I'll have more reviews and stuff later. I have some videos on Q that I have to do, but I haven't been able to do it yet. So watch for those, and until next time.